into the GA Scumbags, your crazy uncle's favorite Duke football pod. And at the time of recording this, we are getting closer to the Friday kickoff versus Elon. On today's episode, we will officially be breaking down Duke's roster one last time, giving you a preview of the starters. We're going to go through our stat leaders, team awards, break down the schedule, and at the end of the episode, give you some best bets for the upcoming Week 0 football schedule. But first, Noah, our buddy Eli's back, and finally, our social media guy, Krim, gets to join us. Why don't you talk about him for a second?
Yeah, so we figured we'd let all of Scumbag Nation get the whole team here. You got your two co-hosts, your color play-by-play guy with Eli, and our social media content creator, guy that gasses us up on TikTok, makes the coolest edits, great person, great friend of the pod. We got Krim Roy with us. Everybody welcome Krim. Should be a good episode. You're going to get a lot of different takes, a lot of different opinions on how this season's going to go. And really looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, so real quick, Graham, why don't you tell everybody why it's the thing we do with everybody when they come on. Why are you a Duke fan?
Well, I was born at Duke Hospital. I grew up in Durham for the most of my first years of my life. Dad went to Duke. I just grew up around that area. Then we moved across the mountains over here at Tennessee. But we still, every other weekend, we'll try and drive up there, those 7-8 hours for a football game. It's been like that my whole life. When we lived in Durham, we'd go up there every single home game. It's gotten a little bit harder now, but it's just been like this my whole life. And it really took off, especially when we hired Elko. I got really big on that. But yeah.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Krim's on the younger side of the fan base. He didn't experience a lot of the hardships, and he drives 8 hours for football games. Some of you guys won't drive 20 minutes just to call you guys out there.
I was there for those 2-3 win seasons, but no, I wasn't there for the 0.
But not when they were the norm.
No. It's the name is the GA Scumbags. We don't hold it against Krim too often, but Krim does sit in the tower. We don't hold that against him. But he is one of the tower guys, so he can't speak on the scumminess to an extent.
But, when you're as technologically challenged as me and Tyler are, if you don't have a guy like Krim Roy on your podcast team, your podcast sucks. Definitely a reason we've gained quite a few followers on all the platforms. Best edits. And really makes the pod have some cooler things for you guys to watch, some short clips, things like that. And, we're real appreciative of that.
And speaking of the tower elitist, we found out Eli is going to be sitting in the tower for the Elon game. Eli, you hadn't been on the last few episodes. How are things going in your world?
Good, man. Good. I mean, as many of you guys know, I'm coming down with a cold if I sound like shit, but yeah, as many of you guys know, I've been doing kind of a daily countdown. Like, we are whatever amount of days until football season. We're Trey Freeman days, where et cetera, with a different player, past or present. Got my season tickets ready to go. And yeah, I'm going to be in the tower week 1 versus Elon. We just decided that, with all the enemies I've made on social media, that it's for my best interest if I'm away and I'm kept safe and away from the general public. It's just safer that way.
But will you at least be joining us in the Devil's Deck?
Oh my God, definitely. If I can't get down, I'm gonna try to buy a separate game ticket and a Devil's Deck add-on just so I can get down there for at least a little bit in week 1. I got to be out there to christen it. I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, it feels like the Devil's Deck is something that's meant for scumbags. So I feel like week 1, it's kind of like popping her cherry, seeing how much weight that thing can hold. And Tyler knows all about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're looking forward to it, looking forward to getting out there, and really looking forward to giving all the Scumbag fans, all you faithful to listen to us week in, week out, kind of who we think is going to be on the team, what the awards are, record predictions, things like that. So it should be a real good episode.
Yeah, so we're going to start off, kind of give our projections for the starters for this year. A lot of them are kind of set in stone. The biggest one, quarterback, we have some big news to give you guys. Thank God it has finally been announced, at least supposedly, that Malik is going to officially be named the starting quarterback.
Amen.
Thank
Hallelujah.
God I can breathe again. For those of you that don't know, there had been rumors about a quarterback battle ever since Manny, more or less ever since like spring had gotten here. Whether or not you bought into it was different, but the longer it went on, the more doubt creeped into my mind. I will now not be jumping off the Devil's deck in week 1 if Malik is starting. I know, Noah, you kind of share the same sentiment as me on that one.
Yeah, it's just something I wasn't willing to continue spending money on Duke football and continuing to try and represent it out to the public and spread what Duke football is if Malik wasn't starting. I was gonna give up. I'm not afraid to say it. Glad he's starting. Glad that that's who the guy is. It's who it should be. He's got a lot of talent, and I'm ready to see him sling it.
Yeah, we've talked about Malik at nauseum at this point. Krim, Eli, why don't y'all kind of give us your thoughts on Malik Murphy and him being named starting QB officially? Eli, we'll let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited. I mean, I think he's someone who, yeah, he hasn't seen a whole lot of, playing time, being second string when he was at Texas, but from what we saw, there was a lot of raw talent there that should be able to be, polished up and worked up. I mean, first and foremost, just that arm talent, just like the throwing power, he's guys insane. As far as accuracy goes, that'll be determined, but as far as just raw throwing power, I mean, he's going to have a better deep ball than God. It's the best deep ball that we've seen at Duke in a long time. So, we have all kind of just grown accustomed to, seeing dead ducks thrown 15 yards or further, just like hitting the grass. So excited to see that. Nothing against Grayson. I think Grayson is going to be a solid backup if he has to come into play for us, but we were all just kind of holding our breath and getting worried, kind of like what you guys touched on about the longer the secrecy went on and like the quarterback controversy was going on, we were kind of worried that, holy crap, is Malik not really showing up in camp? Like, is this huge investment that Duke football has made in this arm, is it not going to pan out? Like, we were kind of worried about that. But now that we know it's officially going to be Malik, we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him in his, super expensive Mercedes outside A Loft Hotel in downtown Durham. And let me tell you, that man is big. I mean, I know everyone says it, but he is so big. He can throw that ball so far. He threw it, I think, 74 yards as a freshman in high school. And I mean, I think we all kind of knew that he was going to be the starter. It's great to have it confirmed. I'm I'm excited that these first 4 games he's going to get a lot of just some wiggle room, some good time to make mistakes before going into ACC play. But yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, and the thing, we've all been real high on Murphy just from the small sample size in Texas, but that when you got a good tape and you've got good stats, the time you were in the game was good time spent. You got the wins, the top 25, the road win, and you were on a playoff team. It's super impressive. And, all right, now jumping into the old running back room here, as we all know. For RB1, it's a consensus agreement. Jacquez Moore, man's got a lot of talent. One of the most athletic running backs we've seen at Duke since a guy like Shaquille Powell, Josh Snead, Durant, just a great running back. He'll be replacing, he split carries last year with Jordan Water. But by the eye test and by his yards per carry in comparison, Jacquez Moore with a smaller load was a better running back. And I think a guy that can make a lot of noise. It's a guy, Tyler Krim. I know all of us are high on, but you two homer him more than anybody. Why don't y'all talk about Peyton Jones? Kind of what kind of role he's going to be filling in as the 2-back this year.
Yeah, me and Krim are kind of the owners of the Peyton Jones fan club. Jamie Holt is up there. I will say I got to meet Jamie the other week. Jamie is up there. He's not quite as big on him as me and Krim are. But I mean, Peyton is going to be the running back of the future. He's going to be running back 2 this year. I would assume Star may go in front of him, but I think Star's going to be more situational. But Peyton's a lot like Quez, except no knock on Quez, unless he's gotten stronger and stuff, which I'm sure he has. He's not as much of a lateral guy. Quez is more side to side, where Peyton Jones is just going to get up and down the field. Uh, Quez is going to dance around in the backfield, make a few guys miss. Peyton's more of an old school running back type. I'm really excited for him. I'm glad he's finally going to get some carries this year. I think he saw he maybe had 20 carries last year, if that. He's due for a breakout year, I think. I just wish we could have gotten the ball more last year.
I agree. I mean, Peyton Jones, when he came in as a freshman, he was big coming out of camp. Was expecting some big things from him last year, just didn't get it. He had like 1 touchdown versus Northwestern, I'm pretty sure. I mean, he's an amazing running back. He's hard to bring down. I'm looking at this running back room, and I think we've got like 3 guys, I think, who probably could be starting running back for Duke on a level. Some of them are certainly better than others, but I mean, if Peyton Jones had to, he could definitely step up and work his magic.
And speaking of some of the other guys, I know Eli's kind of got a guy he thinks will be really good in the power back role or situationally. Just had a lot of good carries, good stats at New Mexico State. Eli, tell us your excitement about old Star Thomas.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, first and foremost, I'm mostly excited about Jaquez Moore, but that's kind of a given. But yeah, again, that Star Thomas is a guy who I'm definitely going to have my eyes on this year coming out of New Mexico State. I mean, it's just lit it up out there in the Southwest, made a name for himself. And, when he came over to Duke, it was an exciting move for us to pick up. I just think our running back room is full of a bunch of dogs. We got a full stable. And so, yeah, Star Thomas is definitely a guy I'm going to have my eyes on. And it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, Noah, about maybe like a short yardage power back role, maybe like 3rd and 2 type of deal. But yeah, no, I'm super excited about Star.
Yeah, absolutely. And the running back room, we're even 4 deep in a way. Al Wooten, another grad transfer, just dude's jacked out of his mind. You could see him possibly, coming in almost in like a fullback lead blocking role. Possibly seeing him in a wing motion, something like that. So a lot to be excited about in the running backs. And same with the wide receiver room. You talk about Duke's 2 deepest, like most talented rooms come at the outsides in the backfield, the running backs and the receivers. So, Tyler, talk about the receivers a little bit, who you think's kind of going to be in there, what we're looking at, how many rotational guys. Oh,
I was muted. Technical difficulties. We'll blame the IT guy for that one. I think the primary difficulties the primary 3 receivers this year, you'll see a lot of Jomo, of course. Eli is going to be on the field a lot this year, and Harvey. I think Harvey's going to be the slot guy. I think he's going to excel in that spot. After them, of course, you've got Samir will touch the field a lot this year. You'll have John. I think John Tavis could make a few plays. Our boy, Chad Tyler. You've got Sean Brown. The receiving room's really deep, extremely deep. There's some size in it this year. I don't know if we have a ton of burner guys speed wise this year, but we've got a lot of size, which with Malik is going to be a lot more ideal because he can just sling the ball up and let our guys go and get it. It'll be interesting to see, especially when we start talking about stats a little later on how he distributes the ball to everybody. Eli, I'll let you go, then we'll let Krim, if there's any receivers that catch your eye or that you want to talk about specifically.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first and foremost, obviously most excited about Jordan Moore. I feel like, how do we say this? He had a productive year last year, but I think that he was held back by maybe, lack of, solid quarterback play, and also lack of stability. I mean, he had 3 different quarterbacks throwing him the ball last year. Also, I'd love to see some more production out of Samir Hagans this year. Samir didn't really get a whole lot of touches or production last season. I believe the word is he kind of felt like he was being used as more of a decoy most of last season. And so I think we're going to see more production out of him. A third guy I'm actually kind of excited to see is Eli Pancol coming back from injury. He's been on Duke's roster for a while, but he had a good season when he first came in, but due to injury, he had to redshirt a couple times. And, I think that Eli Pankel's another guy who I'm going to have my eyes on this year. Kind of a bigger guy, some more strength there. So I'm curious to see what he can cook up this season.
To add on to that, I mean, obviously Jordan Moore, phenomenal receiver. I'm also really big on Samir this season. He can really get up there and make some plays, but also y'all are forgetting two very crucial wide receivers, and those are Bo Lilly III and Akiva Masse.
We're a Bo Lilly podcast. We found him on the fucking roster like a month and a half ago, and I hate to say it, Bo, we didn't know you existed. But Bo Lilly, man, cool cat. The Akiva Masse guy, I just know he played like 8-man football. So, I mean,
He's a dog, trust me.
I'll chalk it up to that. Just know that him and Krim runs his fan club. But receivers for me, the guy I've been on since day one this season for just having a breakout year, and a guy that's trying to play into an NFL draft pick spot, and that's Javon Harvey. Just one of the more talented all around, just pure athletes as well as pass catchers. Great hands, great route tree, just a deep bag of talent and skill to get open, to get off the jams at the line of scrimmage. Just real excited to see Javon and all the guys out there. That room's going to be electric.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, it's going to be a brand new offense to watch. Like, it's not even back to the Cutcliffe days. I don't think we're going to see an offense quite like this one going back to, like, compare it to. And another reason it's going to be an offense we haven't seen before is because we're going to use tight ends again for the first time since like 2015. And we've got two pretty damn good ones to use. Nicky Dalmolin came back, kind of a shock, really late. It was right around spring ball when he announced he was going to come back. But before that, everyone was already excited about our boy Jeremiah Hazley, who shout out to Mr. Hazley, huge fan of the pod. We love him.
Daryl.
Yeah, he what a guy. He likes everything he can for us. He follows us on Instagram, on X, and I think on TikTok. So you're like, Daryl's the guy. But yeah, Jeremiah and Nicky are gonna, like, in terms of 1-2 punches, that's probably the best 1-2 in the ACC. Like, we may not have, first round draft pick level tight end play, but we're gonna have one of the best 1-2 punches. I expect to see. I don't think Brewer's a big fan of running 2 tight end sets, but I think with what we've got, we could see some instances of running 2 tight end sets this year. I know Eli's a big fan of Nicky.
We won't get into that. We won't get into that. I'm more of a bigger fan of his family. I guess we'll say that.
Oh, Jesus.
just a great family Nicky's got over there. Just love all those people.
Good people.
Yeah, good people. All I can think about is with Nicky coming back. Obviously, I'm excited to have Nicky come back, but all I can think about is I wonder what was going through Jeremiah's mind when he was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm going to have the starter job. I'm going to be a tight end number 1. And then Nick is like, never mind, guys. I'm going to come back. I want to play one more year. I wonder if there's some disappointment there. Not that he won't still be productive, but I do wonder if Hazley had any disappointment with that news of Nicky coming back.
Yeah, I've got it chopped up kind of to being probably like a 50-50 workload this year. Love Nicky, great guy. One of my favorite pictures I have in my life. Nicky's wearing a cowboy hat. We're on the upstairs part of Shooters. He's got like a wheat straw cowboy hat. We're repping like the Bull City thing, drinking some vodka sodas. And, love the guy to death. But I think Hazley's the better tight end. I think Jeremiah's, he's a lot stronger, a lot better inside because I think he's a better vertical threat. The only thing I think he probably needs to keep polishing up and working on is just his route tree. Getting his moves down right, making sure he can get off of some single man-to-man coverage from like strong safeties that walk down the box. But I'm huge on Hazley. Love Nicky too. I think we're going to see about a 50-50 workload this year. I do think we'll see Vance coming in some. I think, because he's a really good, just young tight end. He's not going to be in there a lot. But if those guys are really getting a heavy workload during some games, you'll catch him in there, maybe in some short little 3-and-out pass situations. But, it's a well-rounded group, man. It's going to be an exciting one to watch.
If we're being honest, I don't know too much about tight ends. I do agree that Hasley is the better tight end out of the two. I think they will go sort of 50-50 down the middle. But yeah, I mean, Hasley was projected to already have a really big season. He was shown out in the early spring camps. I mean, I met Jake Taylor once. That's all I really know about tight ends.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
it's a good group, man. I mean, I think that's yet again receivers, running backs, tight ends. That could go down as the three best groups on the field from both sides. I mean, they're just solid from top to bottom. When you're at your tight ends and your third and fourth guy can be the starters, that's a really good sign to keep guys like Jeremiah and Nicky healthy.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of keeping guys healthy, a spot that at least three of the four of us in here are really, really worried about this year is the offensive line. For projected starters this year, myself and Noah agreed on Brian Parker at tackle, Jack Purcell at guard, Michael Barr at center, our boy John Fina at right guard, and right tackle is, of course, Justin Pickett. And for those of you, I really hope that Pickett's going to be healthy because there are some rumors going around that Pickett is not healthy at the moment. I hope that's not true because if he goes down, we're already toast on the offensive line. Um, like it, I hope I'm wrong. I'm just deeply, deeply concerned about this group. You know, Eli, we were talking about it before we started recording. Manny's thing is that we've added 10,000 snaps on the offensive line or, something like that. That's cool. Experience is nice. You've added Ivy League snaps into the ACC. These guys aren't, you're not running into what you're going to run into here in the Ivy League. Maybe one guy out of every 4 games. So until they prove me wrong, I'm going to be really concerned about the O-line. Eli, Krim, y'all haven't had as much time as me and Noah have to share our thoughts about it. I'll let each of you. We'll let Eli go first. I know he's on our page, and then we'll let Krim be the voice of optimism in the room for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I just more of kind of what you guys are saying. Obviously, when you lose, two big time offensive linemen who were absolute rocks, and Jacob Monk and Graham Barton to the NFL, like you're gonna have a little bit of fall off there, right? Like you can't just replace those guys, especially when you're a program like Duke, who's kind of near the bottom of the Power Four. But you hope, okay, well, maybe we can, go out and get some studs and maybe work them up a little bit. I think that they went out and made some decent pickups. I'm excited about Bruno Fina, especially in terms of what they picked up for the offensive line. But definitely, yeah, definitely just the biggest question mark probably on either side of the ball. Obviously, Justin Pickett is going to be the more tenured guy on the line there, and we are kind of looking to him to be the rock at that position. There's a reason they sent him to the ACC Media Day. But on top of like just being a big question mark in terms of like, strength and what they're going to be able to do, again, like the depth, like this is a position group where the starters themselves are a big question mark, but then you're also like, okay, well, if one of them goes down, then what? You know what I'm saying? So I think that could really be a recipe for disaster, especially with $1 million investment with a rocket for an arm, behind that line. You want to protect him at all costs. And it's definitely something we're going to be keeping an eye on and kind of worried about going to the season.
All right,
Yeah,
Krim, be the beacon of light here. Tell
Yeah,
everybody why
offset
we
that.
do hurry.
I mean, definitely can't hide. Biggest question mark on the team. I don't know if y'all have seen that meme of like the Bugatti and like that like middle of nowhere rusted down house. That's what I'm sort of getting from this O line with Malik. But I mean, from what I've heard from people who have gone to watch camp and from people who are players in camp and coaches, and I know they're supposed to say this. I mean, it's going to be fine. I mean, like, yeah, they're not going to be great, but it's not going to end like it'll be fine.
Yeah, Krim, that's you when that's your level of optimism, that's probably not a good sign. But we'll take it. We'll take it.
That's the best I
Um,
can do, man.
outside of like, and we don't know if this is for sure the starting line or not, but like guys like Brian Parker, Jack Purcell, Barr, Fina, and Pickett, You just got to think if we could keep 4 out of those 5 guys healthy for at least 10 of the 12 games, that we have a chance, at being decent and not being the worst in the ACC when it comes to offensive line play. But kind of like Tyler was saying, there's a lot of big ifs on that. And outside of that, though, as that's the last offensive position group, outside of offensive line, there's no doubts on the offense anywhere else. So, when you've got 4 out of the 5 things nailed, you just got to bank on hoping that 5th one is just decent enough. And if they're just decent enough, that offense is going to be special. There's no way around it.
Yeah, we don't need last year's offensive line. Like if you stuck last year's offensive line with this offense, we would be threats to win the ACC. We just need an offensive line that can give Malik Murphy a few seconds to throw the ball 60 yards. That's it. That's all we're asking for. We don't need, great offensive line play. We need good enough because, with where we're at this year, next year's the big year anyways. But now on the other end of the line, a much better side of the ball, the defensive line. The projected 4 starters from us on the edges, we've got our boy VJ, Vincent Anthony, Wesley Williams on the other side. And then in the middle, we've got the Liberty transfer, Kendi Charles, and Aaron Hall. Now, I'm really excited about the outside here on the edge. Wesley Williams had a monster last few weeks last year to end the season. VJ is just he's never had that chance to be the guy, and now he does. And I don't know if you guys saw the picture the other day that was floating around. Dude, he looks like a grown ass man.
That is a man right there.
Like, I don't remember who posted it. It might have been Duke's official team posted the picture, like the defensive linemen and all.
It was Coach Harlan Bauer.
Oh man, dude, he looked like a dude out there. So I think that's going to be the initial 4. Same thing. No, I'll throw it to you this time if you got any thoughts on anybody else before we.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pick one of the 3 remaining, leave them to some low hanging fruit. But I'll go with Aaron Hall here. I'll pick an inside guy. I think Aaron has had a big off season from what I could tell. Kind of started coming on last year though. If you one of those guys, if you don't watch him from the start of the snap, you're probably not going to see what he's doing. But he does a really good job playing assignment defensive tackle, which I know that just sounds like a coach at a halftime speech. But as a D tackle, you can't chase the ball too far upfield. You can't leave A gap, B gap, C gap containment, depending on what what the game call is, what kind of defensive front scheme you're in. You got to be able to stunt. You got to be able to run some 8s, some twists, things like that. He's athletic enough to really get outside and set an edge if they are running a twist scheme. I'm really excited to see him and an older, he's another year older and another veteran on that presence, and really looking forward for some Aaron Hall this year.
All right, Eli. We'll let you pick if you want to talk about Wesley Williams or Kendi. Which one would you rather leave with?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I feel like when I think about Kendi Charles, I think about him almost in a sense that in the same way that I think about Star Thomas, like somebody who lit it up with their previous school, but now they're moving up to a Power 4 school. So I'm excited to see what that transition is going to look like. I think all the intangibles are already there. I think it's just a matter of how much the coaches have worked them up and how they've adapted to this newer role in a higher, a little bit of a higher, faster paced football, so to speak. I'm definitely gonna have my eye on Kendi this year. I'm excited to see what he can do. As far as my projected lineup for the defensive line, give me on the ends Wesley Williams and Ryan Smith, and then in the middle we'll go Aaron Hall and Kendi Charles. Those are my 4 projected starters.
All right, Timothy.
I mean, I don't see how you can't have Vincent Anthony Jr. in there, Eli. I mean, he's a dog. I have him, Wesley, Kendi Charles, and Aaron Hall. I was pretty big on him in the spring, but I mean, Kendi's big, man. I mean, you should look at his Instagram. He's got some big muscles. Wesley Williams, big. Vincent Anthony Jr., big. Aaron Hall, big. and the depth is there. I mean, I think with the defensive style that Manny wants to bring in, with those tackle for loss, stopping the run, I think that's very plausible with the group of guys we have, not only here but at linebacker. But we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, Crib, you're a natural. You just walked us right into the next one on the list anyway. Linebackers, it's a pretty clear-cut group. You got two guys that are kind of standing out, and from what we've heard, are just phenomenal and really leading that defense. And we got Trey Freeman and Nick Morris Jr. Looks like Duke's going to be in a 4-2-5 scheme this year, just for anybody that's wondering. That's why we're doing the 4-2-5 prediction. But yeah, we got Nick Morris Jr., Trey Freeman. Nick, huge fan of the pod, one of the coolest dudes. Just an absolute scumbag. He's a crash out. He's like the linebackers that used to wear neck pads and like do copious amounts of drugs in the locker room. That's what Nick Morris brings to the table.
Lawrence
And
Taylor.
yeah, like dude, he's LT, man. He's got a couple of Delta Pi girls in there with him. He's railing a couple addies. He's having a beer and a cigarette. Like that neck pad's rolled. It's game time. I'm really excited for Nick Morris myself.
Dare we say he's CTE certified?
Oh yeah, I mean
we're gonna get
he
there.
might own it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of nailed it on the head with Nick. Of course, there's Trey. I'll touch on the guy that's probably going to be the first one off the bench for either one of those two guys, and old Alex Howard. We did steal him from A&M, gig him, fat
Gag 'em.
bastard himself. Yeah,
Gag 'em.
the money terrorist oil couldn't buy you everything, Mike. He's going to be fine. He came in from Youngstown State. He's played 40 career games. Not great numbers. He does have 100 tackles 140 tackles in his career. But he's going to be a nice kind of third rotational piece to give Nick a breather or give Trey a breather when they need it, although I don't imagine they're off the field much. Or we ever have to go into a situation where we need that third linebacker. He'll suit in just fine there. Eli's also a big Nick Morris guy, so we'll let Eli talk about Nick, and then Krim can talk about Trey some more for us.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about Nick Morris? I actually had my first run-in with him. I was at a Bulls game, and I saw Todd Polino, and I started talking to him, and then this guy stands up, and he goes, "Are you Eli?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Dude, I follow you on Twitter. I'm Nick Morris." And we became buddies that day. We're always talking on Snapchat and Twitter. I mean, if he's probably as big or bigger of a Duke football fan than we are. I mean, he knows his stuff. He's always name dropping guys from the old days. I mean, he made his profile picture an aerial shot of Wallace Wade from the 80s for a while, so that tells you all you need to know. But yeah, Nick, he's a guy who didn't see a whole lot of game time last year, but did have some good results given the playing time he was given. And he's a guy who I kind of expect, now with Cam Dillon heading out, I expect Nick to get some more reps and get some more production this year and be a difference maker. I think that him and Trey are going to make a fantastic duo in the secondary.
As for Trey, I mean, 100+ tackles last year. We all know he's, as of right now, best linebacker we have. Obviously, whatever happens this season happens. I also like Kendall Johnson and Ozzie Nicholas, who are there, and some freshmen that Derek Brown Jr. Noah loves.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, as for Trey Freeman, just big. Nick is fast. I mean, you got some big guys over here who can really, again, when we're talking about that tackles for loss, last year, Manny Diaz was in the first for tackles for loss, and then in second place was Patke, I think. And I mean, the things that we can do with these guys at our disposal is limitless. I mean, coverage wise, I mean, Trey Freeman can cover. I don't know about any of the other guys, but great group.
Yeah, I mean, you look around yet again, it's another one of those ones that's 4 or 5 deep, and the guys at the end of that depth are just as good and can kind of match up. in ways that Nick Morris and Trey Freeman can't. It feels like Ozzy and Alex Howard are both kind of big time passing linebackers, really good at covering hook zone curls. Can play man to man in the flats, can cover backside wheel routes on a post with X. Just a lot of good things that they can do in situations where we know Manny and Pat Key are going to see that, like, hey, this is coming. Offense subs, so that means we are binded to be able to sub. He can rotate those guys in. Love that new rule from the NCAA. Anytime the offense subs, the ref has to stay until the defense subs. I love that. And for guys that are like no ball like Manny and Padkey, that gives them a chance to really utilize the guys they have at their disposal. Kind of like in the quarterback situation and our safeties. We're low. We've got a lot of talent top to bottom. Kind of our biggest Achilles heel in that department is size. Height is in to be particular, but getting in the corners a little bit here. In a 4-2-5, you're gonna have three corners, and I've got in my starters Chandler River. I got Trayshawn Devone transfer from Rice, really high on him. I think that was a super necessary pickup for our secondary to be successful. I think he is really going to help us take a good step in some man-to-man scheme. And then I've got Pickett playing at the other corner position.
Yeah, our secondary is going to be the talent's there, like you said. We're just we've said 100 times, we're worried about the size. I think Pickett's going to be in finally for a good year. He's one of those guys, kind of like a Vincent Anthony, where he's seen the field every year. He's been on the team more or less. He's never kind of been given keys to say, hey, you're officially 100% of starters. Show us what you got. He's played 37 games at Duke, 63 tackles, 9 passes broken up. So, I mean, he's got plenty of talent. It's just a matter of he's just never been given that chance. He's got the chance this year, and I'm with you. I think it's going to be him, Rivers, and Devons. I know Krim's a big Rivers fan, so we'll let Krim dive a little bit more in on Rivers. Eli, what do you think about the corners this year?
Yeah, I think, I mean, like kind of going off of what you said, I think Chandler is another guy who I'm looking forward to seeing more production out of him this year. I mean, I just expect great things out of him. Remind me again, is Stinson a corner or is he going to be at safety?
Stinson's a safety, kind of like a rover position.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, obviously, just I know it's kind of a bland answer, but Chandler Rivers. I mean, that just plain and simple. I'm excited about Chandler Rivers the most.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if they know this, but Chandler Rivers is my favorite player on the team. He was last year as well. I love him. I know there's some mixed feelings about him in here, but him, Trayshawn Devonis, I'm not sure how you say his name, Rice transfer. It broke out after some injury troubles. He'll be good. Also, Musa Kane. Noah loves him. And I mean, he didn't see the field too much, but he's a super talented player. He might not start, but I mean, great guy, and the future is so bright with him. And of course, another guy I'm so big on is Joshua Pickett. Big guy, a lot of experience. He's ready. This is his year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when you're looking at the young guys, a guy like Musa Kane really stands out. Another guy that really stands out is Deshaun Stone. Uh, just big time safety, but also could play some corner if needed. He's going into his sophomore year. He's from AC Reynolds High School up in Western North Carolina. Guy's huge. I believe it's like 6'2" with some pretty decent weight to him. Heavy hitter. Really looking forward to kind of seeing what he can bring in as a rotational piece along with Musa Kane. And getting into the safeties, it's pretty cut and dry, I think, for all of us. Jalen Stinson and Terry Moore. I think both those guys have solidified and earned their roles in those positions. Stinson, when he gets down there in the box, is an absolute beast and a weapon in the run game and the pass blitzing game. Just a schematic nightmare for offensive coordinators. They don't know what the fuck to do with him. Really impressed with his game. Hoping he keeps it up. He's definitely bulked up more year after year, which only makes him better and better. And he's one that doesn't let the height disadvantage kind of outplay him. He just outworks everybody, gets stronger each year. So looking forward to those two guys.
Yeah, real quick before we go on secondary, some interesting news. Mid pod actually, Duke's Twitter official page just tweeted out. Looks like about 5 minutes ago, a video of Malik Murphy saying QB1. So it is officially official that Malik is the QB1 now. It's not just a message board thing. Duke's made it public. The Bleacher Report's already sent me the notification. So yeah, Malik will be QB1 this year. That puts all doubts to rest. And yeah, Stinson was the second leading tackler last year, so he'll have another good year. I'm really excited to see Terry get another crack at safety. He's played damn near every position except for quarterback already. Safety's more of his natural position anyways, so I'm glad to see him move back there. I think he's going to have a really big year. So Eli, we'll let you hit on those real quick.
Honestly, dude, with the safeties, it's not an area where I'm super familiar. Like, I'm not a certified ball knower in that area, so I'll pass it on to Krim. I'm sorry.
I mean, Jalen Stinson, a little small, but I mean, has played so much collegiate football. He's one of the most experienced guy on the team. He's 35 something, I think, going on 36 around that. And he's just, without a doubt, one of the best guys we have on the secondary. And it's his last year with us. He's going to be big. Everyone knows it. And of course, Terry Moore, he didn't get at as much attention as Stinson did at the safety position last year. But again, very capable starter. He did start, I'm pretty sure, most of his games. And I mean, safety's strong position. Could use maybe a little more depth there, but I mean,
yeah,
So-
that's what we're kind of hoping. Like a guy like Deshaun Stone brings to the table, and just to dive into special teams real quick. Not gonna discuss these guys. No offense to them. We fuck with them, but long snappers Cooper Curtis, he's as solid as it gets. We got a freshman punter, Cade Reynoldson. We'll see how that works out. And everybody knows we got Big Rod Todd, the Rod father, the Todd father, the GOAT, kicking field goals for us this year.
Yeah, and so real quick, we'll kick things here for Eli. Eli's got to dip before we wrap things up. So Eli, if you want to, real quick, I'll just run down the list and kind of let you give your thoughts on these things. If you want to give your projections for Malik Murphy this year in passing yards and touchdowns, we'll go ahead and go through all this with you, and then we'll come back and do ours. That way you can give yours before you go.
Sounds good. Yeah. So for Malik, I am projecting 3,100 passing yards, give or take, 22 touchdowns, 11 or 12 picks.
We'll do 11. We're going this short side there. Who do you have for your leader in rush? Well, leader in rush yards, and how many yards and then touchdowns?
Yeah, I mean, rushing leader obviously is going to be I think Jaquez. I think he's going to get us probably, I don't know, maybe 12, 1,300 yards.
All right. And is he going to lead in touchdowns, or are you going someone else for touchdowns?
What do you guys think? Are we going to be more of a pass first offense or a run first offense?
I think we're going to throw the ball a ton. I don't think – I think it's going to be like at least around 60-40 pass to run, if not more.
All right. I have him leading running backs in touchdowns, but not like the team in touchdowns.
Gotcha. So how many touchdowns do you have Quez with?
Let's go 12.
All right. Who do you have? Who's going to catch the most passes?
Easy, Jomo.
All right. How many? Is he going to lead the team in yards, or are you going somebody else for yards?
Yeah, I've got him leading the team in yards receiving yards with, let's say, 1,200.
All right, and touchdowns.
Let's go 10.
Nice.
I don't think from listening
I've got
to
a fun nugget about that.
The Section 17 pod, didn't they say we haven't had a receiver break 10 touchdowns since like Clarkson Hines?
Yep. Clarkson Hines was the last receiver with 10 touchdowns. A few guys have gotten up to 9. Nobody's had 10 since all the way back to the Clarkson Hines days.
Brutal.
A few guys have hit 9, though. So I assume I know who you're going to pick to lead the team in tackles. It's just a matter of how many.
Yeah, obviously, I think our tackles leader is definitely going to be Trey Freeman. Let's go 120 tackles.
All right. Sacks. This one could get fun. I think there's a few different answers we could go here.
Yeah, I mean, I see Vincent Anthony being a wrecking force, but I also expect big production from Ryan Smith off the edge. I don't know why I like him so much. I just do. And then also Kendi Charles to put up big numbers this year as well. But if I had to choose one of them to lead in sacks, honestly, none of those three. Probably Wesley Williams.
All right, we'll go with Big West. Rough number.
I don't know. What's a good number? What do you guys think?
I've got somebody at 6.5 as my max.
Yeah, let's go 5.
5. All right. And who's going to lead in interceptions and how many?
Chandler Rivers with 3.
Nice. All right. So we're doing we're gonna go ahead and like I said, we're doing all this for Eli now. So we got team awards we're gonna do this year. Who's your team MVP?
Team MVP, probably Jomo.
Nice. So then we've got offensive player of the year.
Offensive player of the year is also probably going to be Jomo.
Right. Defensive player of the year. I assume I can guess where this one's going.
Yeah, easy. It's going to be Trey Freeman.
Now we'll dive into this one a little bit more when we start giving ours. But CTE Blue Devil, just a quick synopsis. More or less a hard hitting guy who's gonna have like some of the hits that make you go oh a lot
Yeah,
this year.
probably Nick Morris. I think Nick is going to be a guy who just doesn't really value human life when he's on the football field. I think we're going to see him get a little bit crazy out there. He does you probably have seen where he does his eye black, but it's like his whole face, like it's his whole cheeks basically. So like all around his eyes. So yeah, I think he's got that little bit of crazy side to him. So give me Nick Morris to be CTE certified.
All right, human highlight reel. This can be offensive or defensive. Just to play a guy that you think is going to make a lot of
Quez.
ESPN type plays this year. Quez.
Yeah, Jaquez Moore.
All right, and then last up we've got breakout player, someone who might be flying under the radar to have a big year that no one's really mentioning. I feel like there's a bunch of options you could go in this route.
Yeah. Oh God. Give me Eli Pankel if he can stay healthy.
Ooh, nice. I like that one. All right, so now we're gonna get to the schedule. If you had to pick one game on the schedule that you would call a trap game or a game that Duke shouldn't lose, but there's a chance that if you had to pick a game where Duke's going to get upset in, who's Duke getting upset by?
Elon.
I should say.
No, I'm just kidding. I hear a lot of people talking about Northwestern as being a trap game. I think that it's one of those games, like you said, we should win it, but I think Northwestern could be sneaky good. And may possibly catch Duke sleeping. So let's go Northwestern.
All right, and if you had to pick one game where Duke's going to get an upset win, what's your one upset? And just to clarify really quick, I'm not going to count UNC as an upset win.
Yeah.
This year because I think we're better than UNC. I don't consider beating UNC this year an upset win.
Yeah. I mean, the one I'd probably like to see the most would either be FSU or NC State. But if I had to go more realistic, maybe Miami.
Ooh,
I say Miami because I don't expect Miami to be elite by any means, but for whatever reason, they're always in the preseason poll, and so people think they're going to be elite. Yeah, so I think the Diaz Bowl is it's going to be cinema.
All right, so now we'll just quickly go by and get game by game. Elon, I'm assuming you've got a win.
Win.
Northwestern, I should say.
Win.
Home to UConn.
Win.
At Middle Tennessee.
Win.
Victory Bell.
Win.
Don't do it.
I have a starting 5-0.
Okay. At Georgia Tech.
So Georgia Tech is funny because they've got a real rowdy crowd there, but I have no clue. Like, are they projected to be good or not? Like, what are we
Yeah,
thinking about Georgia
they're
Tech?
They'll
gonna
be
be
pretty
they're gonna
good.
be 9 wins probably.
All right, I have us losing to Georgia Tech then.
All right. Florida State.
Loss.
Uh, Crim's favorite team, SMU.
Win.
At Miami. Are you going to pull the trigger?
Yeah, I'm gonna go win.
At State.
You know what? Based on who State is playing the week before, I'll have like if State is playing like a big like a dog the week before, I'll have State beating that dog and then shitting the bed against us because that's what they do. Uh, do we know who State's playing the week before Duke?
So let me look that up real quick. I'll pull up their schedule. So the week before us, State is going to be playing. They have a home game with Stanford.
Oh shit. Okay. I have State losing to us.
Right?
I say they get too cocky coming off the Stanford win. And oh, you know what? Actually, I don't know because they might be fired up after last year's loss. They might want blood. So actually, you know what? Give me a loss to State.
We're gonna have to hide Eli in a trench coat after that game if
Yeah, I'm
they
going in
win.
hiding.
I'm going back to Facebook if that's what happens.
Yeah,
Um,
Twitter's going to be go silent for a while.
home against Virginia Tech
Loss,
and at Wake Forest.
win.
So Eli has us finishing the year at 8-4, which would be a very, very, very good season. And he's got us 4-4 in conference. I would take that. Eli, we'll let you. I know you've got to go fairly soon. So we wanted to get I wanted to make sure we could get all your takes in here. We'll throw it back up to ours, and you can hop whenever you need to hop. We'll kind of keep running through and give our predictions, and you can chime in as much as you want to till you have to go.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate you boys having me on. I'm gonna head out real quick.
For sure, man.
All
We'll catch everybody. Catch you on the next one.
All right. Catch you later.
See you, man.
Bye.
All right, Krim. We'll kind of each give our stats kind of in order here. I'll go first for pass yards, then we'll let you go and throw it to Noah. I'm gonna go with Malik. I'm gonna go a little bit under Eli. I think he was right on touchdowns. I'm gonna put him for 2,600 yards this year. I think he's gonna go for 2,600 touchdowns, probably right around 20. Actually, I'll go higher, 2,600 yards, but I think he's gonna have 24 touchdowns. I'll say 10 picks. Krim, what do you got for our boy Malik?
Yeah, so I've got Donald Tomlin throwing. No, I'm just kidding. We got Malik
6,000
Murphy.
yards.
I'd say like 3,200 yards. Let's go. Let's go like 29 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. No, wait. Give me 12. 15's too many.
All right, Noah.
I've got him at 2,550 total yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions for the year.
So we're all kind of around the same ballpark. Shocker, Krim's on the higher side.
For sure.
Krim's more or less got him winning the Heisman.
Yeah.
So does our good friend Hoosier Stan, though.
Yeah, we got to give a shout to Stan. He did bet $100 on that.
The first ever scumbag of the week.
I mean, Malik's
What a
gonna
moment.
ball out. Those first 4 weeks are set up for him to get just like, get the feel of it.
At least 1,500 passing yards.
At least
Yeah,
3
dude.
passing yards.
He could go out there and knock it out of the park. Now, diving into rush yards, what you guys got for Jaquez?
So I'm actually doing things a little different here. I think Quez is going to lead the team in yards. I think he's going to have less than he had last year, just because we're not going to run it as much. I think the carries will be split a little bit more with 3 guys that can get legitimate touches. I'm going to have Quez at 750 yards. as far as touchdowns, I don't think he leads the team in touchdowns rushing. I'm
Oh,
gonna
no.
go. I'm gonna go with Peyton Jones,
Freezing cold.
and Peyton Jones is gonna get 8 rushing touchdowns this year.
Oh, God.
All right,
Crim, what you got?
I mean, it was hard to do this. I mean, I have to put Quiz for rush yards. I'm sure we have some great guys. I think he only gets let's do 710 yards, a little over 700.
Yeah.
Let's go 7. Let's go 8 touchdowns.
You picking Quez to have the touchdowns too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I think
All right.
on mine. I think Duke's going to run the ball more than a lot of people think they're going to. Our offensive line's like best talent is run blocking. We're concerned in the passing game for good reason, but the run game, they're a pretty solid unit across the board when it comes to run technique. I got Quez going for a breakout season, 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns.
1,100.
1,100 on the ground and 15. I think you're going to see Quez. I think you're going to see a team where we're going to throw the ball and score that way a decent amount, but we're gonna keep up tempo when it comes to rushing touchdowns. Like, it's not going to fall off as drastically as people are expecting.
I could see that. So I'm going for the receivers. I do think Jomo leads the team in receptions. I'm going to put him at around 80 receptions. I don't think he's going to lead the team in yards. I think he's going to be more of a safety blanket kind of guy. You know, he's going to get his, but I think Harvey is going to lead the team in yards. I'm going to put Harvey at. And I said on the Facebook page one time, I don't think Duke's got a 1,000-yard receiver this year because it's going to be just distributed that much. I'm going to put Harvey at 825 yards this year. And for touchdowns, I wanted to go with a tight end, but I can't not go with Jomo for touchdowns. I'm going to pick Jomo for 8 touchdowns. All right, Krim.
Total receptions, I have to go Jomo. I don't know what's a good amount of receptions to have. How many did he have last year?
70 to 90 is usually a solid number. I think last year he had around he was in the 80s, I believe. I would pull it up and double check for you.
I'd give him 87, I think. I mean, with Calhoun on that team, he's now wide receiver 1. I think he'll get more targets.
Okay. So last year he had 62 receptions for 800 yards.
He had more than KC Concepcion did too, and everybody wants to fucking suck his meat.
I'll go 85.
There you go.
85 receptions, receiving yards. Honestly, give me
Come on, ride the Harvey train with me. You know you want to do it.
I'm gonna go with Samir Hagans. I think he's one of the fastest guys we have. I think he's going downfield. I think he's going to finally break out. We saw what he could do a little bit in 2022 and last year. You know, I think he's fast. He's going to be downfield for right where Malik wants him to be. But I think he's going to have the most yards. About, I'm going to say 950. I don't think he breaks 1,000 though.
950. All right. Who you got for Tutties?
Tutties, Jordan Moore. It's a feasible amount of touchdowns. Let's go 8. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, like Eli was saying, no one has gotten 10 touchdowns in the season since Clarkson Hines was here. So
yeah.
Do with that what you will.
I hate to tell you, Tyler, but that's changing this year. Jordan Moore, 92 receptions, leading the team. Receiving yard leader, Javon Harvey, 1,075 yards, breaking the streak. And touchdowns, Jeremiah Hasley, 10 of them bad boys. Take it to the bank. Best tight end we've had in a real damn long time. I think he's better than Noah Gray. I think he's going to go down as an all-time Blue Devil. I think this is a year where Hasley just starts feasting in the red zone. Man, he's too big, too athletic, too good at his hands to be a true linebacker that was transformed to a tight end. He's got some of the best hands I've ever seen. I'm looking forward to it. I'm on Hasley train all day, 10 touchdowns.
And so, for those of you, just to clarify, that might not know who Karsten Hine is, first off, why are you a Duke fan? Secondly, the last year he was at Duke was in 1989. So it's been that long since Duke's had a receiver get 10 or a tight end get 10 plus touchdowns. And we've had some good guys come through. Like, it's amazing. Like, Crowder and Vernon, neither one had 10 touchdowns. Like, that's wild to me that neither one of them ever broke 10 touchdowns. Deaver, nope, never had 10 touchdowns. As far as the defensive stats go, we'll go tackles, sacks, interceptions. Trey's going to lead the team in tackles. No shocker there. I'm going to put him at 107.
Ooh, you were close to what I had.
That's what I'm rolling with. Sacks, I'm going to pull the trigger on BJ, and I'm going to go all the way up to 8.
Son of a bitch.
I think he's going to have a big year. Interceptions, I'm not going to go with Rivers. I'm going Pickett with 2. I don't think we get many picks this year. All right, Krim. And no, you cannot put Chandler Rivers for 15 interceptions.
Oh man, I think you might have read my mind. Tackles, Trey. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. Would not be crazy if Nick beat him, Sacks. I also had VJ Anthony. Again, wouldn't be surprised if it was Leslie Williams or Kendi Charles. I think it'll be pretty even across the board. But and interceptions, I have Josh Pickett here as well. I mean, I can share you my Google Doc. It's right here.
So how many sacks are you projecting for VJ?
Let's give him 5.5.
5.5. All right. And then you had Pickett for picks. How many? Picks are weird. I don't think we've had more than, like, Chandler had 3 last year, I think, to give you an idea.
Chandler Rivers?
No, he
3
only
interceptions?
One.
Yeah,
one.
He might have 3 in his career. Might be what I saw.
Oh yeah. I mean, 4 is seems like too many. 2 seems like it would tie someone up. I guess I'll go 3.
Yeah. So tackles. You got Trey Freeman, 111. Sacks, I got Vincent Anthony at 8, which is just comical because that's exactly what Tyler said. I'm looking at my Word document right now. If I can share my screen to put the proof out there, it's right there. But interceptions is where we differ, boys. It's where we differ. It's where we stray the path. I've got Deshaun Stone, absolute ball hawk, 4 interceptions, breakthrough year, kind of moving into that real true free safety position. I think teams are going to have to throw it, they're going to have to throw it deep on us to kind of keep up with our offense. They're going to have to take some shots. And I think you get a guy like Deshaun Stone back there, 6'3", like 190, 195, just a big cat, strong as shit, true sophomore. Let him get through some growing pains, and you're going to see a lot of ball hawking out there. Reminds me a lot of Miles Jones, as long as he stays healthy.
What a pick. So the interceptions could come down to like who ends up winning out of the 4 of us, especially on the defensive side, because we're all kind of right there on everything else, except Eli picked Wesley to lead the team in sacks, so that could pull away for him. Now we've got, we'll do the awards real quick. MVP, self-explanatory. Eli went Jomo. I'm going to go Trey Freeman for MVP. I'm not going to go with Malik Murphy. I think Trey is just going to have that kind of year. I think Malik is going to have a solid year. I just think that Trey is going to be the best player on either side of the ball for the team this year. Who's your MVP, Krim?
Yeah, so I mean that's definitely not a crazy pick, but when you throw for 3,200 yards, you're going to be the MVP. So give me Malik Murphy.
Yeah, you gotta ride that wave.
Yeah.
I myself, I picked Jaquez Moore. I think, like I said, 1,500 yards, 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns. I think he could possibly have kind of a good a good enough year where at the end of the year he makes some of those semifinal award list when it narrows it down to like the top 4, top 8 players in the country at that position. Looking forward to Quez. That's who I've got the MVP.
So now this is when I'm going to pick Malik. I'm going to offensive player of the year. I think, if he has 26, 24, and 10, I'm not complaining at all with some of the concerns we have and with the schedule and all. So I'm going to pick Malik, especially because, like I said, I've got Quez at 750 yards. I've got Peyton with 8 TDs. Neither one of those really justify. Jomo, I've got receptions, Harvey yards, nothing. So I'm going to pick Malik for offensive player of the year because I think the offense is going to be really balanced in terms of numbers. And, I'm guessing, Krim, you're going to pick the Heisman for offensive player too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You going Quez, Jomo, or Malik here, Noah?
I've got Quez cleaning up on the offensive side as well.
Yeah, if he had 1,500 yards or 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns, yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. Eli went Trey Freeman. I've picked Trey for MVP, so I'm going Trey for DPOY. Are we all in agreement on Trey for Defensive Player of the Year, or do either one of you two want to go, or either one of you two differ?
I have Trey.
I have Trey. I would not be surprised if it's like BJ or Stinson, but yeah, I have Trey.
So that's what I was going to say. If I had to pick one other guy, I almost want it to be different and pick Stinson. I just can't pick against Freeman there. So CTE Blue Devil, kind of like we discussed with Eli, the guy that we think is just, going to get some targeting calls, just kind of the guy that's going to take heads off. Eli went with Nick Morris. I was torn between Nick, Musa, and Stinson because I think Stinson's going to kind of play like that rover role this year where he's like a hybrid, but I am going to go with Nick Morris for the CTE Blue Devil. I think Krim was talking about it beforehand. I think Krim's got a different answer for this. He didn't say what, but I think he got a different answer.
So when you said CTE, I wasn't thinking of the person doing the hitting, but the person, the Antonio Brown type guy.
Oh God!
So give me Chase Tyler this year.
Just a crash out, an absolute crash out.
I mean, he's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely kind of went the same route, Krim. I picked a guy that I just thought would like harass people on Twitter, and they were like after his career, and just kind of be like the best piece of shit you ever met in your life. And Nick Morris, I love you, man, but like that's you. I just know you're an absolute fucking scumbag in the best way. One of us for real. I don't think I feel like there's a couple other guys. I feel like Deshaun Stone. I'm just a little bit. I'm super familiar with his game because he came from Reynolds, but the dude's been a crash out for a long time. Kind of like Chase Tyler. I think if he gets enough playing time, you might see something like that. But man, Nick Morris, like I said earlier, dude, just a neck pad, couple of Delta Tri-Delts, and a couple of pills, and that boy's ready to go. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does, just crashing out this year.
So the next one, we have human highlight reel. Eli went Quez. I thought about going with Quez here. I also thought about going with John Tavis. I opted for the guy that Krim picked to lead the team in receiving yards. Actually, I would Samir here because I think he's not going to make many plays, but the plays he makes are going to be just massive plays all year long. So I'm going to go with Mir there, for the human highlight reel. Krim, who are we picking?
Sorry, I was muted. I was bouncing between Samir and another guy, and I think I'm going to go with that other guy. I think I'm going to have to go with Peyton Jones. I mean, I think he's just going to get those big plays off every once in a while. He's not going to be the leading rushing yards leader, but he'll get those huge 50-yard runs, I think, every now and then. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of went astray here. I don't think he's gonna have like the most productive year. I think he's gonna have a great year, but I went with Chase Tyler as my human highlight reel. Kind of expected him to do some great things. Might not be all the time, might not be super consistent, but I think when he does, it's gonna be pretty electric.
Yeah, I could see him absolutely making some big plays. Breakout player of the year. So I'm going to steal Noah's answer here, and this is where I'm going to put Chase. I'm going to put him here, breakout player. I almost went with Musa. It was a toss up between Musa Kane and Chase Tyler for breakout player of the year for me, but I opted for Chase just because I think we're going to throw the ball a lot more. Who's your breakout guy to watch for, Crib?
There's so many to choose from. Honestly, we've got
This is a tough
capable freshmen, some really young guys. I mean, I feel like everyone knows VJ Anthony is gonna have a breakout year, so I kind of want to go with the guy. Like, let's go with Moose. I think that's a good safe bet.
Yeah, I Moose is what I'm real high on. I know both of you are as well. It's kind of a guy that all of the scumbag team has really kind of bought into. And if I was going to, have a second one, that's who I'd pick. But after the interceptions prediction and kind of when we talked about just some guy that could be a huge piece of this defense and it really adds to the height and the size of the secondary. Give me Deshaun Stone. I think Manny knows that guy's just got a lot of football talent. And, I'm really excited to see what he does representing the good old 828 as well, back up towards the homeland. Not often you see guys out of those schools going to Duke and things like that. So it's really, really cool.
Okay, so this last one, me and Noah are just going to touch on it real quick. This is kind of an award that we wanted to make for, we're going to call it, the Scumbag Player of the Year. It's our little personal award. How could you not give it to Todd Polino? We were in unison on this. We just both agreed that Todd just screams. Todd deserves an award, first off. We didn't make this just for Todd, but he absolutely deserves recognition. And, you don't get the nickname Big Rod Todd without being a scumbag. Like it's, we'll let Krim give his thoughts on Todd, and then I'll let Noah finish up on that
one. I mean, love Todd. I just thought this would be a good time to touch on some. Y'all know anything about Jared Wheatley?
Oh my God.
I mean,
how about you educate us on Jared Wheatley?
And also, I just found out about this guy, Graham Gottlieb, something like that.
Okay.
We got some good special teams there. I don't think I have anything to add to Todd Polino. Got a little shook up versus Notre Dame, but I mean, especially during the spring game too. I mean, he can.
Yeah, Todd Polino was pretty much the highlight of the spring game. But that was also my GA scumbag of this upcoming season. The guy that I would give the award to was Polino. Had a couple of guys, I was thinking of Stinson being one of them. Feel like Stinson's kind of a good time. Nicky Dalmoa and Jeremiah Hasley both could be big time scumbags. But yeah, I'm settling with Polino.
Yeah, like he's just such a guy. Like you talk about football guys, football guy there. So next we're gonna get it. Now we're finally gonna get into the schedule here. So we'll a quick rundown of the schedule first. If you don't know it, of course, we opened up with Elon on a Friday. Turn around, go to Northwestern on a Saturday night. Home game with UConn. Then we take on Middle Tennessee at their place. Come back home at UNC. We go to Georgia Tech. Friday night, we get a home game with Florida State. I believe that's our bye week then after that. Then we get SMU at home. And then we go to Miami, to State, home with Virginia Tech, and at Wake. I'm with Eli here. Actually, no, I'm not. I differ. For the trap game, I have said this, and I'll continue to say this about the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee. They are not very good, Duke should handle them by 50. I think Duke is possibly 3-0 going into that game, staring down Carolina. I don't think Middle Tennessee beats Duke, but I expect that's like a 21-point line, and Middle Tennessee makes it a 10-point game. That is my pick for a, quote, trap game this year. Krim, what's yours? Or a game that you think Duke might get upset in?
Just after watching the Wake game last year, Wake is a weird team, and I know they're not going to be good. And I don't know if it's. There's not many games on here. First of all, that Duke would be considered an upset against Duke. I hate to say it, but also the ones that would be considered an upset are like UConn, Elon, Middle Tennessee, which I think are just easy wins for Duke. So I'm gonna have to go with Wake Forest. Last year was scary, so yeah.
Well, and it's worth noting, talking about that Wake game. It is the last game of the season. So say that we're, God forbid, say we've got 4 wins going into that game. There's a shot that we get beat because we're not even trying. There's also a shot if we're at 6 or 7 wins, we're just oh well, get ready for bowl season kind of thing. And Wake could be playing for a bowl game too, so I could very easily see that happening. Noah, where's the game you're kind of worried about?
Brother, I started the Northwestern train. I'll ride it and I'll end it. It was always Northwestern. That game defines Duke's season. They beat Northwestern, they'll win 7 or 8 games easy. They lose to Northwestern, we're staring 3-9 in the face.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it more when we record our Elon episode, kind of previewing that. That's a really important game, not to overlook the Elon game. That Northwestern game is a huge game for Duke, and I don't think we're going to see a lot out of Duke against Elon for that reason. Because Northwestern isn't going to be terrible. They're going to be pretty good. They're bringing a lot back. We're playing at their new stadium. Out there on the lake. It's going to be a weird place to play in.
Not much of a stadium.
Yeah. Now we've got the upset. If we had to pick an upset game, and again, I'm not counting UNC as an upset. If we beat UNC, yes, we haven't won in 5 or 6 years now, but I don't consider beating a team you're better than an upset. My upset win is actually, I'm with Eli. I think we win at Miami. I was really hesitant on it, when we did our ACC preview. But if I had to pick one game where I think Duke's going to win and pull an upset, it's got to be Miami or State. I bet Clem doesn't pick either one of those. But I'm going to pick at Miami in the Diaz Bowl. That's kind of towards the tail end of the season. Cristobal could be fired by that point if things explode and not go well for him. I think Manny's going to come in there and want to run the score up. And we've played pretty well when we go to Miami in years past. Krim, what's your upset you've got circled? And why is it Florida State?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just because I knew we were going to beat Clemson beforehand. I actually told my mom I don't see how we could lose to Clemson before the game happened. It's real. You can ask my mother. I knew we were going to lose to Notre Dame. The only time I knew we were going to lose to Georgia Tech, like in 2022, the only time my sort of soul instinct has been completely wrong was Virginia this year. To be fair, that was a crazy game, but I don't think we lose to Florida State. I think we beat Florida State, and I think it's by more than one possession.
Well, that is certainly a claim.
You heard it here first.
Hey, yeah, there you
bookmark it, folks.
Krim is the Nostradamus of football, it would seem. So, Noah, good luck following that. Who's your upset?
I'm just picking VT, man. I'm not going to get into it any. Just Virginia Tech.
That's
ESPN
probably
has
a-
Duke projected to beat them, actually.
Brother, I ain't looking at the fucking FPI for a college football game ever.
That would
Just saying.
definitely be considered an upset. Pre as of right now, if we beat Virginia Tech, I'd call that an upset, no doubt. So now we'll go game by game. We all agree Elon's a win, right?
Yep.
All
Of
right.
course.
So that's a win at Northwestern. Any of us taking Northwestern besides me?
No.
It's gonna be a low-scoring, weird game, but no.
Are we all predicting wins against UConn and Middle Tennessee?
Yep.
I would hope so.
I'm 3-1 going into Carolina.
4-0.
So 3-1. So you've got us losing to Northwestern.
Yep.
That's two of us. UNC. Are we all on a W?
Yes,
Does the
I
Bell
am.
come home?
This is the year.
Yeah, I have it been a pretty decently close game, just a rivalry game, but yeah.
At Georgia Tech, I've got a loss.
Same here. I've got a loss. Their quarterback is
To
just
GT. Yeah, that's a loss.
Crim's got us beating FSU.
Mhm.
I have us losing to Florida State.
Yeah, I have us also losing to Florida State.
So SMU at home.
I've got to win.
That's a dub.
Yeah, put me at 5-2 right there.
SMU's going to struggle to make a bowl game.
Ooh,
I've
I
got
don't think I've got them at 7-5. But I don't think they struggle.
I've got us losing to the Ponies. At Miami, I do have a win there. Either one of you two have a win against Miami?
I do.
I do not.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Look at you being a pessimist.
I
Wow.
mean, I know Miami gets all the hype. Honestly, there's such a big possibility Duke comes in there, beats them by like 14. I wouldn't bet on it. It's that gut feeling.
So let's see here. Next, we've got at State.
No.
Anyone pulling the upset here?
I am.
I thought about it.
I
can't
don't believe in the Wolfpack, dude. I never will. They never give us any reason to. I mean, it's just the same old shit every year, dude. They'll end up beating the dog piss out of Stanford. That's exactly what will happen because Stanford's coming over here, and then they're gonna have their game down. Duke will walk in there and just walk the dog on them. I don't think Duke's a better football team than State this year, but I think Duke beats them.
I mean, the thing about NC State is what the NC State fans claim happens is just whenever they play Duke since 2009, they just all of a sudden, for that 1 week, random reason, they're just not a good football team. So that could very well happen again, but I don't know.
So Eli had us losing to Tech. Noah's got us beating Virginia Tech. I think, Crim, you've got to win there too, right?
So when I was making my list of the schedule, originally when I was just like winging it, going off what I see, we ended up at 10-2. So I had to go rework that a little bit. Virginia Tech was one of the ones where just, I don't know. I hate to say it. I hate Virginia Tech so much.
Annoying fan base.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game, but I think we lose that one.
Yeah, I've really been back and forth on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I've got, we come off a loss to Florida State, we lose to SMU, then we go to Miami and win. I think we ride that high into a loss against State. I can't do it. We lose to Tech. I can't do it. Anyone got us losing to the Deeks?
No, I don't.
Nah.
Yeah. Hashtag not our rival. Deek Machine get fucked.
Fuck Deep Machine.
So our final projections here. Eli had us at 8-4. If I do my math right here, I've got us at 1.
Take your time.
I think I've got us at 7-5. It looks like.
I've got us at 8-4, 4-4 in ACC play.
I
Crim's
also
got
have 8-4.
I have us at 4-4. So we're all in agreement, I believe, at 4-4 in the ACC. We all kind of go 500. It's just a matter of who and where.
When you really
But we're-
look at the schedule, I mean, it
Well,
doesn't look that.
well, the thing is, we've said it 100 times. The issue with this schedule is there aren't a lot of games on here, like you said, where if Duke loses, it'd be considered an upset.
Yeah.
But the problem is Duke could very easily lose 9 games on the schedule, just as easy as they could win
100%.
9 games.
We
Like
could
it's
lose.
it's a schedule full of 50-50 games,
Yeah.
which is why the offensive line play is going to be massive. So again, Eli, Krim, and Noah have 8-4, 4-4 in the conference. I am the pessimist of the group. I picked 7-5. Wanted to go 6-6, but I do think we're a little better than that. So now me and Noah are going to do a little thing, and if Krim wants to throw in one or two, he can more than welcome to before we wrap this up. Best bets. So we're going to start doing this every week because we want to talk about more than just the Duke games at hand. There's not much to talk about game wise in week 0. It's just thank God football's back on Saturday. High school football starts up Friday in the state of North Carolina. I can't wait to go out and watch some. But my best bets before I let Noah throw it, I'm going to take the over of 55.5 in the Hawaii-Delaware State game. That kicks off at midnight. For those of you like me and Noah that I'm sure will be up watching the game, Hawaii games are notoriously high scoring.
Oh, buddy, I'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah, the Rainbow Warriors and I believe the Hornets of Delaware State give me the over of 55.5. SMU goes to Nevada on week 0.
Oh, buddy, that's Nevada in the points all day.
So I am taking SMU and over the team total. If you can get SMU in 45 points, I would take the over of 45 points. The 27.5 is a really close line. I would lean Nevada there, but I think SMU is going to score 60 points a game. It's just a matter of their defense. So I would take the over on their points, and I'm taking I wasn't brave enough to take the money line in the Georgia Tech game, but I will take Georgia Tech plus 11.5. That feels way too generous, or that feels way too much. I feel like they should be getting like a touchdown max. So 11.5 feels like a steal to me. No, I'll let you go to yours now. I know you've got
awful.
Let
the king of losing money talk to people here. Let me tell you what not to do. We got a little 2-leg parlay here. We're taking Georgia Tech money line. Just taking straight money line. No need to cover when you're going to win. And we're taking Nevada on an alternate spread plus 17.5. And those two things right there together, $100 makes you a little over $8,000. We ain't hating on that. We're not hating on things like that.
that's a very scumbag play right there.
I'm not okay. First of all, so this doesn't ever come back to bite us. We are not giving you or telling you advice or to go gamble. Do not blame your addiction on us. We're gonna go ahead and clear the air. We don't condone anybody else doing anything that we do. We're actually terrible people. Regardless of what you guys might
by
think.
any means.
I'm not a role model. I'm never going to be a role model, and that's okay. But that's what I'm laying down. Really looking forward to week 0 coming up, man. Just fucking can't wait for football. This is the last episode without football. Like we've made it. The scumbags have carried the off season from damn March, April, all the way to August. We're here. It's time to go. Everybody's getting ramped back up. I'm excited. This one's been a blast.
Yeah, Krim, I know you're technically not allowed to gamble, but if you had to make like a pick on the Florida State Clemson game, or Florida State Georgia Tech, Georgia Tech's getting 11.5 points. What would be your pick there? Are you taking Florida State, Georgia Tech outright, Georgia Tech with points?
Georgia Tech's winning that game, and it's going to be a party in Dublin.
Yeah, I can't wait for the day Duke gets a game over there. The Scumbags in Dublin, we would. Could you imagine?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Us in Dublin, yeah, we wouldn't make it back to the country. We'd probably get arrested over there.
Imagine seeing some guys over in Ireland who go into an American college football game. They have no clue what a Malik Murphy is, but they bought the jersey outside the stadium, and they have no clue what's going on. But it's just hype in there. That's what I want. That's
That might be what Duke needs to get like on the map is play a game in Ireland.
Get those
If we can't
international
get-
European guys to.
Yeah, like if we can't get memorable factors from England.
That's true.
So
Dude,
it's
London
perfect.
game. London
Go-
game.
Yeah, for memorable senior year, play a game overseas. Why not? But are we worried about losing home attendance? Oh no!
Don't forget, Samson. How do you pronounce his last name? Like
Noah.
Noah. Yeah,
Noah. Yeah, something like
I don't
that.
know. Yeah, also from London or UK. Probably
So
not
that
London.
was our ACC or our Duke final preview. Next week we'll be back. We'll be breaking down the Elon game. We'll recap. We'll go back over our best bets, recap that. We'll look ahead to a huge slate of games in week 1. I mean, some big time games. Give some predictions on that. A quick look at Elon. Guys, look out for predictions for the game. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it because again, Duke should win comfortably. But if you guys don't already, I believe it's Crimroy12 on Twitter, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, Crimroy12 on Twitter. Give them a follow. What's your TikTok? We'll plug it too.
It's like Crim_Duke FB.
Give them a follow there. Thank you guys as always for following us. Again, GA Scumbags. It's on YouTube. We're on X, Instagram, TikTok, all of them. It's the same handle for everything. Crim, again, thank you for making the stuff you do for us, the graphics, the TikToks, the videos. They are absolute bangers. I think we've already hit 600 on Twitter at this point in time. We've been around for a few months. We're close to 60 subscribers on YouTube. Videos are averaging 80 views and uploads. So you guys, to all the scumbags out there, it means the world to us that this is taken off the way it has. And this is without football even being around. You guys have been here through us just more or less bullshitting to get to the actual football season. So, thank you guys. And as always, DDMF.